Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Pints and Quarts, a show presented by Craft Beer Nation. Today is Thursday, March 31st, and our guest tonight is Florian Kuplent. I hope I said that right, and I got it right earlier. I hope I got it right again. From Urban Chestnut Brewing in St. Louis, Missouri, he is the co-founder and brewmaster. So stick around, see what he has to say, learn a little bit about Urban Chestnut, and pour your beer in the glass. And while the theme music is playing, I want to direct you guys to our social media platforms. You can find us on Twitter at CBN Community. We're on Instagram at craftbeer_nation. Of course, you can find us on Stitcher and iTunes, Facebook at Craft Beer Nation, and of course, we're on Google+. So stick around, pour that beer in the glass, and get comfortable. All right. So once again, thank you so much for joining us tonight. We're joined by our panel, Gil. Gil is actually in St. Louis at Urban Chestnut, and I had to mute him because there's a little bit of background noise going on. But Gil's at the brewery. Freddie is joining us from Boston. How are you doing tonight, Freddie?
What's going on, gentlemen? Doing good.
All right. And the man of the hour is Florian. Florian, how are you doing tonight? Thank you for joining us.
Oh, yeah. Thanks for having me. I'm doing excellent. Thank you.
Fantastic. So let's just get into it. As we always start our interviews, the first thing we want to know is tell us about your journey. How did you get into craft beer?
I actually grew up in a small town in Germany and always wanted to do something in the chemistry biology field when I go for a degree basically, and started working at a local brewery just to make some money in the summer, and really enjoyed that work, and then ended up doing an internship or an apprenticeship actually at that brewery, and then studied brewing science at the University of Munich Weinstefan after that. So kind of a classic Bavarian brewing education, I guess.
Well, I mean, technically speaking, you're still in chemistry and biology, so.
Yeah, there's lots of that, obviously. Yep.
Yeah. So your track wasn't the traditional one. You didn't start out as a home brewer or anything like that, right?
No, I homebrewed a little bit when I was in school, but I really started working in a big brewery, I guess.
Okay. So grew up small town Germany. At some point, you made your way across the pond to the States. And how did Urban Chestnut come about?
So actually, I worked in England, Belgium before that, and then ended up coming to the U.S. Worked for one of the larger breweries here in town, actually Anheuser-Busch.
What? We didn't hear that. No, just kidding.
And then about 6 years ago, roughly about 6 years ago, I started talking to a friend of mine who is actually my business partner here at Urban Chestnut, and we came up with a business plan and started looking at some buildings and options of what we wanted to do, and then founded Urban Chestnut in 2010 and brewed the first beer in 2011.
So was it the case that you both had brewing experiences and you were just hanging out and you're like, man, we can do this just as good as anyone else. Let's try it on our own.
My business partner is on the marketing and sales side, which I don't have much experience with. I'm obviously I'm the brewer and handle all that, so it was kind of a good match. And it always been a dream of mine to maybe at some point in my career open my own business, and we thought the time was right, and were able to convince our wives that it's the right thing to do, and eventually they believed that, and then we just went ahead and did it.
So how did the name Urban Chestnut come about?
So we have kind of an old New World philosophy, and the name reflects that. The urban part is kind of the New World. It stands for the resurgence of craft beer in urban centers like St. Louis, Portland, San Francisco, Boston. Mm-hmm. And the chestnut part comes from chestnut trees being used in Bavarian breweries, originally to shade beer cellars when there was no artificial refrigeration. They basically cut ice out of lakes and streams in the winter and dump that into their beer cellars to keep the beer cold throughout the summer. And then to keep the sun away from those cellars, they planted chestnut trees on top of those cellars. And then eventually they figured out they can actually sell beer under those trees and make some additional money, and that's how beer gardens became to be. And that's kind of our tie-in into the old world.
Okay. So I'm assuming having a beer garden there is. Oh, you have a beer garden, right?
Yeah, so at our Midtown location, our original location, we have a beer garden with about 400 seats or so.
Okay. Oh, wow.
Now, how do you go, in a 5-year-old brewery, you decide to build this? I mean, this is quite an adventure thing to do. It's a good size. I mean, I've been to a lot of breweries. This is a really good size for a 5-year-old brewery.
Yeah, well, we found a bank that they believed in the story, and they were willing to give us the money for the expansion. And we also have a local development partner, so we don't own the building, and they basically they redeveloped it for us, and they're leasing it to us, so that helped with the financing piece.
That's pretty awesome. So I can see off the bat, you mentioned the urban part, the Chestnut. Like, so what influences have you guys had, seeing that you started Germany, now you're in St. Louis, what influences? I can see from what you guys actually brew, there's both sides of it. So, I just want to kind of know about that.
Yeah, so we have two series to reflect those. The Reverend series, where we try to brew classic European styles in the old world tradition, and then we have a series that we call Revolution series, where we try to come up with new recipes. The flagship of the Reverend series is a Zwickel beer, an unfiltered Helles, and that's actually our biggest seller. We also do a Bavarian style wheat beer called Schnickelfritz. We do a Saison, a French style Saison. We just released a English IPA, and we do various IPAs on the Revolution side of things. We have a chestnut beer, obviously, and I think throughout the year,
that's pretty cool.
Yeah, throughout the year, probably do about 50, 60 different beer styles. A lot of them only in draft. In bottles, they're probably a couple dozen, I would say, that we bottle.
So we've done a little more than well over 100 episodes of Pints and Quarts, and I think that this is the first time somebody has ever said that their flagship beer was a Helles lager. So that's amazing that your flagship beer is a lager, man. That's incredible.
Yeah,
Well, I'll tell you what. I mean, I think their beer is an improvement on the German style. I've had beers in Germany, and this is why I think it's a missing link on craft brewery right now. A brewery that makes lager with quality, and I think there's a need for that in craft brewery.
well, thank you for saying that.
Yeah, there's only one brewery that I know of in the States that specializes, or not just specializes, but they only do lagers, and that's Jack's Abbey in Freddie's neck of the woods. So, yep. I mean, cheers to you guys for taking it on. I mean, because that's the lager style takes a little longer to make, and you taking your time and doing it right. So good on you guys, man.
Yeah, for the German styles, we do import our own malt from Germany, from Franconia. We do get hops from that area, and we try to do it right.
Yeah, that's awesome. I love it. I hope Gil shares when he gets back. So what's on the horizon for you guys? Where do you want to go?
Well, we just bought a brewery in Germany about a year ago. That's up and running. It's been brewing beer for about 6 months, and reception's been extremely positive. It's in a small town just north of Munich, right in the Haltau hop growing area. So that's kind of fun. So unfortunately, I'm very unfortunate that I have to go back and forth every couple of months.
Oh, darn.
To visit that operation. And the newest project is a little pilot brewery that we're going to put next door to our Grove Brewery. So basically, behind that wall, behind me, there's a separate building. We're putting in a 2-barrel research brewery, basically, where we do want to get our customers involved in giving us some feedback on the beers that we're going to be brewing there. So we'll have the pilot system, but we also have a bar there where people are going to be able to describe, rank, rate the beers that we pour there, just to give us hopefully some good feedback, and then
Absolutely.
figure out if there's something that people like, and we may then brew on the larger system.
So with the Germany, the brewing in Germany now, are there plans, or have you already maybe started to bring some of these more American style like craft beer? Like, as I see you guys have milk stouts and regular stouts, etc. Over there, like little by little, or is that something you guys?
Yeah, we do. One of our so we have 3 beers that we brew there currently year round, and one of them is a pale ale. So it's a American style pale ale,
Okay.
but brewed with hops grown in that area. So it's nice and fruity,
Yep.
not over the top, but definitely planning on doing some experimental stuff over there as well.
Yeah, that'd be pretty cool.
So you just opened a brewery in Germany. You're gonna build a little pilot brewery next door to where you are right now. What at the facility where you are right now, which I'm gonna just go ahead I'm gonna call it the Urban Chestnut headquarters, right? How big is this facility? Like what's the square footage, and what was your output last year?
The square footage is about, I want to say, 60, 70,000 square feet. We've got a couple back buildings that I'm not totally sure. So it's a big building. Our brew house is a 60-barrel system, fully automatic, 4-vessel. And we did about 16,000 barrels last year.
Okay, so it's reasonable to. I mean, are you looking to? This might be a great step forward, but are you looking to double that in 2016?
No, I don't think we'll double that. I mean, I think we'll probably add 5,000-6,000 barrels to that.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's kind of the growth rate that we've been going at. That's kind of manageable still, and we definitely are focused on the local market. So the vast majority of our beers get sold in the St. Louis metro area.
Mm-hmm.
We're available in Chicago, Kansas City, Indianapolis, and then we're kind of filling out the markets in between.
Oh, sweet.
And I think it's a little bit of an advantage in that you are in St. Louis, and AB is there, and they kind of they brew American adjunct lagers. So for you guys to come in and market as well, and then produce like a craft lager,
Yeah.
I mean that was like a nice little dovetail, right? You kind of, I mean, you don't reinvent the wheel. You kind of take advantage of what's there already. The foundation had been laid for the lagered style of beer, and you guys kind of sip right in and be like, oh, you like lager? Here's an even better one. Try that. Was that the goal? Was that the end game?
I mean, it's before we open. I mean, you can never tell what your flagship is going to end up being, because people are preferring certain things, and it could have been that we would have sold more IPA, but it just happens to be the lager. So that was not something that we. I mean, yeah, to some degree, I guess you can drive that, but in the end, the person buying the beer will decide. But I definitely think there's an opportunity for lagers in the U.S. craft market. I think it's a style, or it's a segment that is a more sessionable beer, and people are most likely to drink more than one. And I definitely think there's an opportunity.
So are you thinking about bringing the American style into your German brewery? Like, to do the same thing you do here? You have like this hero American kind of half. You're going to do the same kind of, or it's going to just pure German?
We're gonna make some of the beers they'll have an American influence, but it's definitely we won't brew the exact same beers. So we definitely wanted to focus on the hops from that area. We're making, actually, the Zwickle beer that we sell over there is basically the same recipe as the one that we brew here in the U.S. But that's really the only beer. Then we have a hoppier version of a Helles called Hopfenperle or Hop Pearl, and it is at the pale ale. But we will have a separate portfolio that's a little bit more focused on the hops that are available in that region.
So you guys are going to be at Savor this year. This
Yes,
is this your so this is I'm assuming Urban Chestnut's first time at Savor, right?
that is correct.
Is this your first time at Savor as well?
It is my first time as well. Yes.
Well, let me tell you, sir, you are in for a treat. What are you guys going to be pouring at Savor?
It's an excellent question. I should know that. I think we're bringing the Zwickle beer, but I would have to look up the beer selection. We're entering so many festivals, and I honestly am not totally sure right now what the other beer is. But it'll be
Well,
good.
I'll tell you what. Look at the amount of beer they have on tap. It's crazy for one single brewer to have. There's no lack of choices. I think if I'm not counting wrong, there's at least 16, 18 taps right now.
Yeah, typically we have anywhere from like 12 to 15 different beers on tap.
I have to expect that you're going to be pouring your unfiltered Hellas. Um, I'm looking at your website, and you have a beer called Florian's Irish Dry Stout.
I
You want
think
to talk about
it
that a
feels
little
Right
bit?
here.
wow.
I'm
Yeah,
drinking
that's
your Florian, right?
that was not my idea. I would never name a beer after myself. That was my business partner that came up with the idea that it would be funny that the Bavarian brewmaster should have a beer named after should have an Irish beer named after himself. So.
That's kind of fun, yeah.
And it's an Irish Dry Stout. So
Well, you can look at that. You can look. This is creamy. This is like the nitro really works well for this style. Uh, it's really well made.
okay, so Florian, do you guys have any? I know you said you guys have a bunch of festivals coming up. So Savor's not until the beginning of June. What do you guys have?
Yeah, so the next one that we have is our crawfish boil, which I'm gonna have to figure that date. That's on April 23rd. That is at our Midtown brewery. We basically have a chef that's really food obsessed, and we're gonna be making a ton of crawfish, and that should be a lot of fun. And then we also have Mayfest in May. Obviously, I don't know that date is definitely decided on yet, but that's coming up. And I guess later in the year is our Oktoberfest at the end of September. That's probably the biggest festival that we do.
So
Okay.
when you're planning to open the pilot system process,
Hopefully, probably in June, July is kind of the plan.
Okay.
Yep.
So if your chef is food obsessed, man, I'm telling you, Savor is where he wants to be.
I should bring him.
You
Yeah.
Oh, look, dude.
I'm sure he would love to come. I'll ask him and see if he wants to come for a day or two. Well, I guess it's the weekend, right? Yeah.
It's amazing. It's absolutely fantastic. So anybody watching or listening,
Yep.
if you've never had a chance to attend Savor, and this is actually going to be Freddie's first year at Savor. Gil and I were there last year. If you like food and you like craft beer, Savor is the perfect amalgamation of the two, man, because these guys have the Brew Association. They have their own chef, and he puts a lot of thought into the dishes that they prepare, and it's not like it's Doritos and beer. It's legitimate venison
Yeah.
tenderloin with a root vegetable medley on top of it to pair with this with lafali or something like that, right?
Yeah.
And everybody's pouring these awesome beers. It's going to be. I'm looking forward to meeting you in real life, Florian, and getting a chance to share your beer because normally, we don't get your beer here in Virginia, so this is
Yep.
going to be an
Absolutely.
opportunity for us to try some of your
Yeah.
beer and see how it pairs with, and also for you to see how your beer pairs with all these different dishes that are going to be at Savor. So it's going to be a great time, and I hope you're ready for a ton of fun. And DC is a wonderful
Yeah, I
beer
love the
city.
ski. I'm really looking forward to going again because it's been a while that I went there, so definitely looking forward to that.
Nice.
Cool. Do you guys have any releases on the horizon that you want to talk about, or?
Yeah, we always do some new stuff. We typically have two seasonals in bottles at any given time throughout the year. Right now, there's a English style IPA that we just released called HMS. We've got a sampler box of 4 different Belgian style beers that's out right now. I think that's quite interesting. I think our brewers did a nice job with that one. And we also just canned our first IPA last week, so that's coming into the market this week as well. So lots of stuff going on, always something fun and entertaining and interesting. So keeps us busy.
You guys have any plans?
How often your top switch comes in? Is that something that you do often?
Yeah, we do. We actually just had a hop festival about a week ago, and we brewed a few beers. And basically, Hop Switch is a series where we try to, just use new hop varieties or old hop varieties to really showcase them in a beer. And a lot of people appreciate that, and to see what a single variety can do.
Nice.
Do you guys have any plans to do any kind of barrel aging? I mean, I know you may not have like a big, chewy, massive, stout to throw into a barrel.
I saw that on. Don't you guys have like I think it's. I'll jack up the name, but it was an anniversary ale that was barrel aged.
Yeah, we have. Yeah, we do. We do a little bit of barrel aging. Actually, the sampler box that we have out right now, there's a Belgian sour ale, a Flemish red that is part of that was barrel aged. We do have our anniversary ale is typically barrel aged. That's called Wolpertinger, and we do a English barley wine called Daft that's barrel aged. So we do a few things throughout the year. No large volumes, but definitely play around with barrel aging a little bit.
Okay, did you say the Wolpertinger is a Flemish?
No, that one was that kind of always rotates a little bit.
Okay.
So we always change the recipe a little bit to make it interesting for us and for everybody that drinks it, hopefully.
But you have a Flemish red.
Yeah, yep. That's called Mercator. Yeah, I think that's I enjoy that beer. It's got that acidity and it's got a little bit of complexity, almost cherry notes from the barrel aging. And, interesting.
I bet
you guys are brewing cider already? You guys brewing cider as well, right? Did you start brewing your cider?
we do make one cider. Not a lot. Some people don't like beer, and cider's a good option to have as an alternative. So we do sell a decent amount of that.
Yeah, people like my wife, she likes to. She seems to enjoy going to breweries with me, but she likes beer that doesn't taste like beer, which means that I'm either sharing a big barrel-aged stout with her, or she's drinking like a cider or something like that. So that's a good option to have for people, for people who are going to be coming there. So that said, Florian, thank you so much for for spending some time with us. I know, you got some things to do, but we are absolutely looking forward to meeting you at Savor. Hopefully we'll get a chance to steal, 10 minutes from you while you're there so we can talk to you. And
absolutely.
Congratulations on what you guys are doing over at Urban Chestnut. You got your brewery up in Germany up and going. You're going to be doing a few more things here in the States. So Godspeed to you and keep doing it the way you are, man. We wish you the best of luck. Thanks a lot.
Absolutely. Thanks for your time. Appreciate it.
Actually, I'm going to go down and say hi to Gil now. So.
Oh, perfect. That worked. I'm sure he'll be more than happy for that. So be sure to join us next week as I scroll down. Next week we're going to have our second interview with New Belgium. We had them on once. We had a chance to speak with Kim Jordan, maybe like 3 months before last year's Savor. Well, she stepped down as CEO. I think she's just on the board now. And next week, we're going to have our second interview with them. We're going to have a chance to speak with their new CEO, Christine Perich. So be sure to join us next week when we talk to Christine Perich from New Belgium. But right now, thank you so much, Florian, and we wish you the best of luck. So, guys, remember, until next week, find some good friends, find some great beers, and mind those P's and Q's.